Hi, this is Joey CPA, and I want to take this time to showcase our TaxDome individual tax return organizer for the tax year 2025. We've been building this organizer for the past several years and have been heavily using conditional logic to turn on and off several questions and sections so that the client only has to answer items that are relevant to the situation and not be bothered by things that don't even apply to them. We've also made updates for changes in the tax law for tax year 2025, especially the items that came about from the OBBBA passage earlier in 2025. So this is truly a smart organizer in that it adjusts to how the client is filling it out and what they say they do have and what they don't have. So let's take a look around. So the first page is just an introduction page. It just includes mostly some tips about how to fill out the organizer. And there's only one question, basically just to filter out who's a recurring or new client. So if you answer no, you know that so they're a new client. You just ask some questions about how they heard about you, how they fill their tax returns, and you can see that many of the questions don't pop up until you answer a certain way. In the personal information section, it just gets some details about the name, address, date of birth, IRA contributions. Those are tied to specific individuals, etc. You can see here when there's no response, there's only mainly a section for the primary taxpayer. That's because if you need information for a spouse, it's only going to show up if the user mentions they're married. And then here you can see that the same questions for the spouse now also pop up as well. This is just one of the ways that we've been using conditional logic to make the organizer more streamlined for the client. We also include things like health insurance coverage here for those of you who are filing tax returns in states with mandatory health care mandates. Here, if the client answers yes to having dependents, then the dependent section will pop up. It just asks about name, date of birth, relationship, etc. to help you assess, dependent eligibility. We've also included a question related to the Trump accounts through the OBBBA. There's a form you could file on behalf of the client through their 2025 tax returns to open an account for their newborn child if you wish to do that for your clients. Yeah. And then income common is just a section where it includes most of the common income items that most households have. Again, here, you just list out if they have it or they don't have it. And this also, along with most of the other sections in the organizer, is going to also turn on and off various items in the file upload section. So you can see, there's really nothing here right now. But if we go back and start answering yes, let's say yes. Just going to pick some. Or even business and rental here, you can see there's no section for them here. But as soon as you answer yes, they will pop up. Same thing with real estate sale, a personal residence. It's going to ask you some questions about getting a Form 1099-S or the cost basis documentations. We'll just say yes. Here also equity compensation. There's a lot of different kinds. So here, there's a lot of there's like 5 here questions, but we won't show this to client unless they actually say they have something. Just because the tax stream is a little different, so you kind of want to know if they have it or not, and the support might look a little different. Like ESCP, you might want the Form 3922. RSC, you might want a supplemental schedule to show the cost basis, etc. We'll just say yes to ESPP. And then crypto, also a change in 2025 is the new 1099 DA form, and so we built that request into here too. So I just kind of randomly answered some of these questions, but you can see now the file uploads items has increased. And you can see that a lot of the items that we said yes to are now showing up as requests with information up to the client to help them figure out what exactly you want to receive from them. But then going back, the income other section, we've also built in things for, like here at the top, we've built in questions about overtime pay and tips, because some of that can potentially be excludable from taxes now. But a lot of the rules are a little complicated about how to actually calculate the deductible amounts. So we've tried to describe them in the organizer so that you can try to have the client do some of the information pulling on their end without having to bombard you with so many questions about how to go about it. You can see if you answer yes to these questions, then more things will pop up and with more explanations. And we'll also include some hyperlinks about the tips, because only certain kind of jobs and also certain kind of businesses that generate tips can qualify. Here we have other items that are just a lot less common. We've kind of made the top several required questions just because they're a little bit more common, but also not applicable to most people. But you can adjust the required or non-required as you see fit. And then here, business income, we first asked them about the business entity. So since this is an individual tax return, we primarily just asked them about the sole proprietorship. And here you can see once you indicate the type of business, then the relevant questions pop up, and you ask them what kind of forms you had. Some of the stuff like the NICS code, we do have the feature turned off for pre-filling from the prior year's organizer, so that they don't have to enter over and over again. And we do turn that on for most of the fields throughout the organizer, not just this section. You ask them about kind of other limitations you might not necessarily see from just getting a P&L from them. Similar with rental, ask for rental days, any kind of improvements, and if you answer yes to having improvement, you will get a generate a request for what kind of improvements and details, and what kind of details you want from them in regards to that. Now, itemized deduction 2 is like if they answer yes to any of these items, then you'll generate a request in the file upload section. And here we've also made sure to ask them questions about mortgage interest and balances, since there's the indebtedness limitation. So you would need that information to calculate if you're dealing with a client with a mortgage balance that's over the limit. Here's like other items, and these will also just basically just turn on file upload requests in the file upload section if they have it. This one is just kind of all the other stuff that may be relevant to people, like if they have premium tax credits or advanced premium tax credit rather through health insurance, and that's going to have to go on the federal tax return. If they have students, here we've also called out AGI limits just as kind of like a filter, because especially like if you're working with clients who are of higher income, a lot of the time they don't even qualify for these items, but they might have it because they have a child or whatnot. But here's just like, you can at least kind of give them a heads up, like, hey, if your income's too high, you might not even qualify for this, so you might as well just answer no if you definitely know you're way over. So don't even bother answering yes and then having to upload something. File upload section. Here's also we have questions about moving, just to kind of data and turns things on. We asked although for federal purposes moving expenses aren't deductible, some states still allow it, so we still build it into the organizer, but those can be deleted if those don't ever apply to any of your clients. And here's some like disclosure questions that are asked. Like this is from the 1040 page 1 question, and the foreign financial assets is just about like FBAR reporting and the A938 form for specified foreign assets. And here we have a link to the IRS website explaining what this is about or what it's for. And then here we also ask if they have received any letters, so you can be aware if there's any nuances they need to deal with. And then also STP pin. Here it pops up. You can ask them to fill this out. And then there's also a file upload request for that as well. And additional comments is just blanket additional comments. They can type out whatever they want here, just as a catch-all. And then file uploads, as you can see, as it kind of was answering randomly. This list has gone longer to incorporate all the items that you need. This is what I mean by this is a smart organizer. It just really based on whatever the client has. Here I do include some name formatting that we like to use, but you can adjust it to whatever you like or remove it. I know TaxDome has a AI renaming feature now, but I personally prefer a very specific naming, so I still have my clients rename it in this particular way for us. But anyways, also just kind of scroll through. You can see there's some of these sections. There's a lot of questions, but you see all the conditional logic being applied that they're pretty much hidden until they become relevant based on the client's responses. And you can see in here the file uploads. This is a very, very long section, but pretty much everything is hidden until some kind of response in the organizer triggers them. But anyways, this is our TaxDome individual tax return organizer for 2025. Hope that you guys can also make use of the template and also help streamline process in terms of document uptake. Thank you for your time.